So it's the podcast. It's this week's podcast. There's been lots of football since the last podcast. When was the last one? Last Monday. And we played twice since then.
7 days ago.
Lots of football, lads, to talk about the whole thing. But the first question we have to open up the podcast tonight, and I've got James and I've Simone who's in, and Shane and or Ragnar as he's known to everyone else in LFC, and Steve-O popped in, and Andy's there because Steve-O was in sorting out his STI for the week. Anyway, right. So the first question that I wanted to put is, it came in from Paul Little on Twitter, and it's a good observation, and it's one worth discussing. And I'm looking at the wrong phone. Basically, right? This is going well. Basically, he said, look, the Twitter, there's only one ITK on Twitter. Is that because his info is reliable, or he tells us what he wants to hear? Right? And I think it's a valid question to put, because we've obviously gotten a bit of information that contradicts what's going on. And straight away, the amount of people who'll cut you down unless you agree 100% with certain people on Twitter is unbelievable. And they'll defend them to when you're just saying, well, look, actually, there might be another story to this. It mightn't be right. You're not personally attacking him. So is this, Andy, is this confirmation bias? Do fans just want confirmation bias? We want to sign Keita. We want to sign VVD. And if anyone says anything that might lead us to think that we mightn't sign them, they're open for ridicule and attack.
Can we be specific about who the particular people are?
The ITKs?
Well, the credible ones and the non-credible ones.
You can if you want, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So who was that referring to?
Well, Paul Little didn't name names. I'd imagine he's talking about Graham Kelly.
As the legitimate one?
As the legitimate one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Graham kind of generally gives good news, even if it's not accurate.
Right.
Yeah.
But my point is that because is it that because he's legitimately one who's getting information, or is it because the news that he tells us is the information that the fans want to hear?
I would say because he brings good news, he's quite popular.
Yeah.
It's rare he'd say we're not signing that player. It's always we're going to sign, and it'd be an exciting prospect. So yeah, I don't think fans want to hear bad ITK news, which is I think is quite normal.
Okay, so then at least the one. So then obviously there's a lot of people then who regurgitate the information.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but I think so. Someone who is definitely more credible than Graham will be Pearce.
James Pearce.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he gets a lot of hate because he can't confirm things for fans that they want to hear. Mm-hmm. He'll say it's not happening or it's a long way off or whatever, and the abuse he gets for it is it's juvenile. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You know, like. He works basically alongside the club, and whatever he gives is the most up to date and accurate information.
And that's his job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I'll put it so. Like you know a few of the lads as well, and a few of the journalists and stuff like that. But does your mind boggle at times when you see some of the stuff that's on social media?
It does, but to be honest, this time of season I sort of switch off the likes of Twitter and Facebooks and stuff like that, just to listen to all the drivel that goes on. You're being linked with every different player under the sun. But the one I used to be mainly follow all the time really was Tony Barrett, but now since he's moved into his new role with the club, you're no longer going to get his stories. Paul Joyce seems to be another one now that's up and running that people seem to be listening an awful lot towards, but it's either what way you take it yourself. You follow who you want to follow. If you think it's going to be true, so be it. If it's not, just move along. But until they're signed on the dotted line, that's just basically it. That's the way I look at it.
Stephen, you've a take on the whole thing?
On in the nose?
On everything?
Yeah, listen.
You're very opinionated.
I'm always very opinionated.
That's what I hear.
Well, yeah, probably so. In terms of James Pearce, and I've said it a few times about James, the thing I like about him is that you get a rounded view from him. And lots of people don't like that. And lots of people, as Andy said...